Welcome to Under the Radar, where we dissect Western ideas and lifestyle. I'm Kirk Powell. We are sometimes told that TV, video games, and other media are so continually stimulating the younger generations of the Western world that they are losing their toleration for silence. Sometimes this is couched within discussions of attention spans, sometimes it's presented as a problem in itself. For the sake of this episode, let's skip the debate and take it as a given that it's true. So, what's the problem with losing our tolerance for silence? Well, there's good reason to believe that we need relatively silent times for thinking and reflection, to bring order to our opinions or potentially to change them. Loss of silence is therefore the loss of reflection and deep consideration. It's likely that this is what people are indicating if they express fear that video games or TV are turning kids into mindless zombies. Now, I have my own reasons for loving a lifestyle of reflection and contemplation. I have devoted an awful lot of my life to it, professionally and recreationally. But it's a worthy question. Why are we afraid of losing that higher order, quiet contemplation? Is its loss necessarily a bad thing? Perhaps surprisingly, I'm forced to answer, no, it isn't. I have two big reasons for that answer. The first is that the life of contemplation is not necessarily beneficial. Socrates famously said that the unexamined life is not worth living, but there's pretty good evidence, and contemporary scholarship verifies, that the considered life is not a happy one. Besides, philosophers throughout the ages have exalted simplicity, continually drawing illustrations for their high ideals from the lives of farmers, athletes, soldiers, and other unsophisticated sources. To encourage his fellow passengers on a stormy boat ride, Pyrrho advised them to imitate a nearby pig, which was perfectly unperturbed. In short, reflection and deep consideration, at their very height, end up coming around full circle to ignorance. My second reason for saying that the loss of quiet contemplation is not a bad thing is that our desire for our children to be deep thinkers seems to have more to do with economics than morality or health or happiness, despite our rhetoric. We are afraid that if they are not thinking the big thoughts, they will not be planning the big plans and making the big money. In other words, we do not want the next generation to become couch potatoes, because couch potato is not a very lucrative job title. I say that this comes ahead of happiness because, as I said in a previous episode, we don't have good reason to believe that economic success makes people happy. And because, if we discover that a person is actually happy being a couch potato, we are, if anything, all the more horrified. However, economic advancement follows a similar circular track as intellectual advancement. The ultimate goal in Western personal economics is, after all, retirement, that is to say, idleness. The happy couch potato has arrived, almost without trying, at the very state that we hope for him to eventually achieve: idle, ignorant, and content. If we think of the loss of silent contemplation as a bad thing, maybe it's because, ironically, we have not taken the time to think about it. That's all for this episode. For the upcoming 5th Saturday of May, a good friend of mine, Dustin Redman, who has some experience doing this sort of thing through his own blog called Cyclops, will be doing a guest-presented episode of Under the Radar on blue jeans. See you next time.